Tinfoil hat. Oh, what the fuck are you guys even talking about?
Global controls will have to be imposed, and a world governing body will be created to enforce them.
Welcome to Tinfoil Hat. We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Are you ready to get your mind blown?
Welcome to Tinfoil Hat. Thank you guys for tuning in. We are live from the Wise Wolf Gold and Silver adjacent studios. Go to samtripoli.gold, use the promo code Tinfoil, and you too can get into the Precious Metals game for as little as $50 a month. And we thank them for sponsoring the show. Very excited today. This is a great topic we're going to get into. We're going to get into a little bit into the con people in the conspiracy world. Particularly in the UFO alien community, what's going on with that? We're very excited to have our guests on. They got a really great doc that's out called The Dark Alliance Inside the Story of the Cosmic Con. They've both been on the show before, and we're glad to have them back. I've been going back and forth with them, but Darcy Weir, welcome to the show, buddy.
Yo, what's up? Happy to be back, Sam.
Glad you're here. And of course, you remember on the show. I can't wait to chop it up with him again. Please welcome Jordan Sather. How are you, Jordan?
What's up, Tripoli? Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too. Glad you guys are here. I know Darcy and I have been going back and forth on trying to make it happen. So we finally locked it in. Here we are. Glad to have you guys. Why don't we take a moment real quick for those who may not remember you guys? We'll go through each of you. Tell us a little about yourself. Jordan, why don't we start with you? Tell us a little bit about yourself and where our listeners can find you.
All right, man. So you can find me on Twitter, Telegram, major platforms at Jordan Sather, jordansather.com. In 2017, I started a YouTube channel called Destroying the Illusion, and I talked about three main things: health, destroying big pharma propaganda, some political stuff, and then my interests in UFOs and secret space technologies and things like that. And I think I was on your show, Tripoli, in like 2018, 2019, around there. It's been a while.
Dude.
Yeah. And then towards the end of 2020, right before the election, I got censored everywhere. I lost probably 700,000 subscribers in the span of a week. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all of them. And then it's been slowly rebuilding since then, but had to kind of migrate to alt platforms. Elon let me back on Twitter, so that was cool. But I did lose that YouTube channel and some of the other ones since then. But still talking about the major subjects, whether it's Q, UFOs, health stuff. So interesting times we're in, man. And there's a lot of grifters in the conspiracy theory movement. Some of them might be, some of them might even be paid shills or paid assets. But I do think there's a lot of just opportunists who are out there trying to make
for sure.
Easy content, make a buck, right? So it's definitely in the political spectrum, but what we're going to talk about here is that going on in the UFO spectrum. And I've got some, interesting experience and insight into how a lot of these grifters operate and what they discuss. So that's what I'm here for today.
You worked with them, bro.
Darcy,
yeah, I was young, dumb, and had some inside scoops on working with them, but that was many years, many moons ago. So now I'm here to tell the story to the world.
Yeah, it's interesting.
David Wilcock called you young, dumb, and full of cum.
Wilcock, that's a weird thing. Darcy, would you like to talk about
introduce? All right, sure. So I think the first time you interviewed me was like a Bigfoot doc that I had done back in the day.
Yeah.
I've had my departure from that theme, and I've been doing the UFO thing for a while. This story that came out of the UFO community from the get-go, like let's say about 2025, so around 9 years ago when I first started hearing this, and then it ended up getting really promoted and propagated throughout the community via Gaia TV network, which is like this love and light, conspiracy fueled, like yoga hippie crowd.
Like
Might
a new
be
age Netflix.
new age Netflix. Yeah.
There we go.
I thought it was BS, right? I thought there was some weird, like I've heard you say in the past, Sam, that space is gay.
Yeah.
And like when I heard this story that was emanating out of the UFO community, I wouldn't say it was like gay, but I was like, fuck, this is ridiculously stupid. Why is nobody checking these people? Why is nobody like pushing this? So I knew about this story for a long time. And then eventually I even tracked the progress of this story where Jordan Sather here, he was going to be promoting it on his YouTube network and all of his social media and shit. So, you know, it was all just out there. And just before COVID, stuff started going down where these two guys, David Wilcock and Corey Goode, kind of turned on Gaia TV and their previous manager that was producing the show for them, Jay Widener. They turned on Leon Isaac Kennedy, the African-American Hollywood actor that was in penitentiary. They were dishing out these lawsuits, and David had set up a new company called Stavati Airspace and was basically shilling hover cars and like UFO tech that he was selling, that he was saying you could invest and we'll sell you these technologies, which has never happened, right?
That's
you can guess
so
where that
crazy.
went. Yeah. So I decided, okay, I'm going to reach out to Jordan. I'm going to reach out to Jay Widener. I'm going to reach out to Leon Isaac Kennedy and anybody who's involved in this crazy ass story and see if they'd be down and being in a documentary. And, you know, started shooting it pretty much in 2021 and it got published in October of last year.
Jordan, so you know, like, yeah, you were around for a while, then you disappeared, and then now it's good to see you're back. When did you start to notice something? Because within the conspiracy community, if anyone blows up at all, they automatically get labeled controlled opposition. Sometimes I think people just want to explain why they're not as big as they think they are, or they should be. That's why these people blown up, but these people haven't blown up. Like, what to you is a sign of somebody being a controlled op? And when did you start to think you were surrounded by them?
Yeah, definitely, man. So signs, you know, to your point, when somebody blows up and then they start getting labeled by a bunch of people as controlled opposition, could be jealousy from folks out there, right? Or it could be just an easy cope for disagreeing with somebody. Like, hey, I can't counter their arguments, so I'm just going to call them controlled opposition. But in that same vein, there could definitely be some controlled opposition people out there. So, I mean, there's a variety of signs I look for. There is sometimes a legitimate questioning of, okay, how did this person get millions of followers in the span of like 6 months or something like that? And then another sign I look for is lack of censorship. How are they on all these platforms and have never undergone any posts being taken down or anything like that? Of course, just because somebody's never been censored or just because somebody got real big real quick doesn't mean they're controlled ops. So, but these are just like possible red flags. Also, being totally inconsistent and flip-flopping is a big sign, but there's a variety of signs. Now, when I started questioning Corey and David, so a little bit of backstory on when I started working with them. So I started that YouTube channel in 2017, and then after about 6 months, I was working real hard, 2-3 videos a day. And then by the time I got about 30 or 40,000 subscribers, so I got a little bit of engagement for myself, I got reached out to by Corey Goode's business manager at the time, Roger, who a few years later, and Corey ended up suing. But Roger reached out to me, invited me down to one of the UFO conferences, and I went and met Corey and all of that. And then over the next couple of years, from mid 2017 to about the end of 2019. I was working with him on projects and all that. But it was about the end of 2019. There was just a lot of dumb shit Corey and David were saying. So there's a few things that really made me question them. Number one, all the insider stuff. I'm getting intel from my insiders, and that just kept going and going to a point where I'm like, this is freaking weird and too much. So they kept coming out with, like my insiders say nonsense. Also, the exorbitant prices of the crap they were selling. So coming out with, buy my video course on my website for $300, or buy my, come to my conference for like $1,000. The grifty nature of it. Too much money for these things. Like I get it. People have to make an income, and of course you're going to sell stuff. It's the nature of business, but too much, right? $333 for the e-course on how to ascend. Just dumb shit like that. And then the lawsuits, man, all the lawfare that was going on between all these folks was also too much. And then, like Darcy said, it was really like at the beginning of COVID, early 2020, I saw David do these YouTube live streams because at that time people were locked down. A bunch of people started doing live streams on their YouTube channels, right? So David started doing a bunch of live streams on his YouTube channel. And there were some live streams, like I remember one in particular, beginning of 2020, where it was a 3-hour live stream, and David titled it, WikiLeaks drops new files. Whole 3-hour live stream claiming WikiLeaks dropped new files. It was not new files at all. It was some old index page of all of WikiLeaks' old drops. And it goes around the conspiracy theory movement like every 6 months. People thinks this index page is new, but it's not new. People just misunderstand. But David, in his infinite wisdom, in his amazing investigative powers, thought this thing was new. Takes 30 seconds to search and realize it's not. He thought it was new, did a whole 3-hour live stream on this thing, told his, 500,000 YouTube subscribers this thing was brand new, and proceeds to shill his $300 course like multiple times in this YouTube video based on fake information. And at that point, I was like, all right, I'm done with these guys. And at that point, I had not talked to them much for like 4 or 5 months before that. But that was my breaking point where I made a public post and tried to be as PC as I could. Like, I'm grateful for the experiences I had with these guys, but I just can't work with them anymore. So then I made that post public and kind of just like burnt that bridge. But yeah, man, I just started seeing way too much nonsense from them and ran away as fast as I could.
Yeah, it's an interesting, the UFO thing is so intertwined with the intelligence agencies to the point where it's like, are they at all separate at all? Like, I just like all these guys are this like this Stephen Greer. I mean, that guy going on a Kardashian podcast.
Yeah, right.
That's the weirdest fucking thing.
Did you watch the Jesse Michaels interview, American Alchemy, that just came out recently? Okay,
no,
so
who was on? Stephen Greer?
Yeah, and you'll notice in most of his interviews, he doesn't let the other person speak or interject because, this strategy in speaking is to make sure that you sound like you have authority and everything you're saying is true. And as long as nobody can jump in and question you, you're to your followers, you're the God-spoken truth. So Jesse kept cutting him off. Kept like, hey, but what about this? And what about that? And he's like getting so frustrated. He says at one point to Jesse, like multiple times, like, will you let me finish? If you let me finish, if you let me finish, I'll tell you, and he never actually answers some of those questions. So
dude, and Greer's one of those where it's like, he claims he's exposing the biggest, baddest secret ever, but I've never seen him censored on anything. And now he's getting all this Hollywood play with, what was it, Demi Lovato, and doing podcasts with Kardashians too. And it's like,
He's got a
All
good
right.
agent. He's got a good agent. for
Good
sure.
agent. Yup.
Yeah.
And
He does
dude,
something that I always get nervous about, and that is he always looks like he's sweating. Every time I see him in some
dude, his
interview,
heart rate's probably beating so fast from all the steroids in his blood
it's
that,
that,
for
like,
sure he's sweating.
Ray Cohen, like Peter Thiel, like every time you see these guys, they always are sweating. You're like, why are you sweating constantly?
Maybe he's on
Constantly.
ephedrine.
They
Who knows?
always glisten. They're always got this like weird film of glisten.
He's
and you're
also like old, and he's starting to get this like chimp look face to him. You know, like it's weird.
It
He
kind
is
of looks like
bizarre
a reptilian.
looking. He does look bizarre. Totally.
Which one? All of them?
Well, I was talking about Stephen Greer.
Yeah, I
but
mean,
of course, all of them.
it's weird. It's definitely weird, and and it's like I remember a long time ago, Johnny. Do you remember the guy that we had on that was like he was like started his own religion on space? Do you remember that guy like way back in the day? And he's like some British kid, and he's like he has this religion.
Oh yes. Oh
It was
golly,
just
yeah.
really bizarre. Like I
It was
let
very
people come on.
expensive. It was very expensive to go to his like seminars and stuff.
It's
Yeah, I
like
recall.
so weird, but it's based on literal nothing. Like, like we'll have people on and sometimes they say things I don't necessarily agree with, but the show is let people get their point out, not to like, kind of like constantly be in combat because, most conspiracy theorists are like street dogs. They're constantly getting shit all the time. So you kind of got to let them have their moment and like get it out. Right. So I did it and I didn't really press on the guy, but it's completely based on like nothing. Like you've never been to space. You don't even know any of that stuff. Like,
Yeah.
it's just weird.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing with Corey Goode, actually. So Corey Goode made this whole cult of personality around himself because of Gaia. Like, so when you look at Gaia, which is a company that's owned by this Russian dude named Yurka, it's kind of like his plaything. He's a very wealthy man. He sold Sprouts, which became Whole Foods early on.
Yeah.
And then he ended up like saying, I want to have a new age entertainment company, right? So Jay Widener, the guy who we interviewed for the documentary, he was the head of production there and basically went from like this startup company that they had to this massive international entertainment network. Like they have at least 700,000 subscribers per year that watch their films and their docuseries and stuff. And Corey Goode's show, Cosmic Disclosure with David Wilcock, was their number one show. Like their stock went from, I don't know, $4 or $5 to like 20 in 1 year because that show was so prevalent. And everything Corey Goode was saying was amazing. It was like you go to UFO conferences and people discuss UFO cases that have pictures and videos and testimony and documents from like Air Force reports or Coast Guard or whatever, right? And it all looks kind of official. But then this guy steps on stage and he goes, forget about that stuff. I know who's here because they're talking directly to me. And I'm your savior. Follow me. That's basically, in a nutshell, the type of presentation, right? And it's just like your guy. He was saying he was going to space. Corey Goode was saying, I was going to space. I was fighting reptilians. I was part of the galactic. Yeah, he was saying I was part of the Galactic Federation, all this shit. And then in this, so he sues everybody, right? And in the documentary, Leon Isaac Kennedy, African-American actor, his lawyer is cross-examining Corey Goode in this deposition video that got leaked. And the lawyer asks him, have you actually been physically to space like you said? And he said, no, it was all just a meditative process. It was all just a part of my meditative practice. And so that falls flat on his face. Like he made 2 documentaries with Jordan Sather, which Jordan flew around the country interviewing everybody for, edited them. And apparently when they went to 1091 Films in 1 year, one of those documentaries, Above Majestic with a reptilian pope on the front of the poster, that made $600,000. And
yeah, I didn't edit them, but
you did it?
No, I didn't edit them, but I do have a production credit on Bud Majestic because I was going all around the country, road trips to interview people for it. So they gave me a production credit. But yeah, then Corey Goode set up his own bank account for the distribution company to put all the money into and screwed over everybody else out of royalties. And I don't know how much money Corey might owe me from that, but I've estimated it's at least between 20 and 30 grand.
Fuck.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever see because Corey shysted that away
Hold
from
on.
everybody. So
Yeah, it's fucking. I have people owe me money. It fucking sucks. Hey guys, right now, man, the crypto market is super interesting. If you get in early on some coins, you can make some good money, and that's why you need someone who could help you, show you the way, and that's our boy James McMahon and Copy My Crypto. Let me tell you about Copy My Crypto. And listen, if you don't know a lot about crypto, but you want to learn about crypto, I got to tell you about James McMahon and Copy My Crypto. Guys, does it piss you off to watch crypto fly up in price for over a decade and you've still done nothing about it? It makes sense. Crypto is complicated and really boring. Well, here's the good news. You don't need to know a thing about crypto to make money like so many have. The CopyMyCrypto.com membership site shows you the exact cryptos that YouTuber James McMahon personally owns, which means you just copy him. It's like having a big brother that knows exactly what he's doing. You don't need to know a thing you don't need to know a thing about crypto or how to invest. You just simply copy along. So let me tell you about James. He runs the Crypto with James YouTube channel, which has so many more subscribers, and this says 54,000. It's way past that. Okay, he's got a ton of subscribers. In the summer of 2020, he told his viewers to buy 26 cryptos. Had you put $100 in each one, it went on to be worth over 123,000. Of the 26 cryptos, his top pick of the year, the one he singled out, Phantom, went up 692 times. That happens, man. That one call alone has retired a number of people, including guys in their 20s and 30s. Remember, this is public knowledge. You can go to YouTube and verify yourself. So if you'd like to join the over 2,800 members who copy James, then pause what you're doing and head over to copymycrypto.com/tinfoil. That's copymycrypto.com/TFH. Okay. You'll not only find proof of everything I've said, but our viewers get full access for just $1. Yes, you missed out on crypto. Buy a little bit here and there, buy a little bit here and there. But there's over 2 million other cryptos. Do you really think you miss out on all of them? Nope. Guys, don't waste time. Go to the site and read it. Once again, that's copymycrypto.com/TFH. It's ended money worries for so many. It just may do the same for you. Real quick, guys, if you go to samtripoli.com, go to events, check out my dates. Again, I want to thank everyone who came out Saturday night. Burbank nightclub, my revival, a night of spirituality, politics, comedy, 1 hour of power. We're going to film that. Bellflower, California stand-up live comedy club, Cleveland, Ohio, San Diego. I'm also going to be back in Connecticut at the Opera House, all that and more. So go to samtripoli.com. Yeah.
By the way, I sent it to Sam. It was Kamitan. That was the kid. Kamitan.
Yeah, Kamitan. That was the guy.
Yeah. And he founded Astronism, I believe it's called.
Oh, that one kid.
Yeah, remember? And he had these what would you say? He had these iconic artwork pieces made where he's like praying and then like there's spirit coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish him luck. I don't want to hear this.
He might be God, so yeah, I wish him great.
I thought we were best friends. I'm like, hey, dude, I'm just saying it was a weird presentation.
But we were talking to God.
Yeah, I mean, it is like you start hearing the same thing. We in society we just seem to be gotten away from like lying is a bad thing.
That's true.
It's just so crazy to me how there's so many people. They're just these American psychos that can look you right in the eye, lie right to your face, and not even care. It's so crazy. But in this day and age, authenticity is the currency, and it eventually comes out. It eventually comes out. If you're faking the funk on a nasty dunk, it's going to come out and people are going to know, and you can only run for so long.
But we got to bring shame back. We have to shame
100%.
people. We have to publicly shame people and not be scared to, who are out there just being assholes and grifting and lying to people. And it's a big problem
but we forget, we forget, like the fires. Like, why are we not shaming the person that fucked up the whole LA fires? We just forget. Gavin Newsom, we just forget.
Yep, we just forget. Or people will try to gaslight you and say you're being negative when you try to shame people, right? So if you're shaming some grifter out there, like calling out Corey and David, then their followers come in and say, oh, stop being negative. Stop being negative. Now they'll try to gaslight you into shutting up. So it's a problem, man.
It is. We do got to get back to shaming. We got to get back to, in the public town square, everybody's got to act correct and chill out. We have to have certain pillars that this, like over the last couple years, or let's say the last 15, 20 years, the left has just pushed. We got to get back to, we don't steal, we don't commit violence, we don't lie, and we don't hurt children, And if you think about all the stuff that the Democrats have been pushing forever, and I'm not on either side, but it's all, they've done the exact opposite of that. And that's why places like California, New York City are just hellholes, because they've gotten away from those four pillars of society. You're totally right, Jordan. We need to start shaming people. We need to get back to that. People are just way too confident to wave their bullshit flag because none's going to do anything. Because what authorities told you is, like, if you push back on the shit, you could end up in jail. You could be arrested. You could do all that. And in reality, it's like, it's just like these anti-Semitism laws are just fucking nuts right now.
Well, also, our algorithms, they don't reward truth. They reward virality.
Sensational. It's so bad on Twitter right now. Just people
so bad.
Making up posts for engagement just to get some monetization.
Or bringing up old videos, old footage, and relabeling it as something that's just happened. That happens frequently. And forget about it. When AI is capable of it's really close now, but when it's indistinguishable truly from something organically, recorded in the world, it's going to be, we'll have to have a solution, or the internet will become social media anyway, will just be a meaningless.
Or you'll do what my dad said, don't believe anything you see or hear, and just like, the truth is, it's like the NPCs, and we don't like to, disrespect anybody, but this AI stuff that's coming out, that's who's going to get wrecked right now. Conformity, people who conform, people who have to follow groupthink, you're going to get wrecked. They're going to take your jobs, dude. People just are gullible and believe everything. It's like Thomas Sowell quote. Basically, it's like, it's like we live in, I'm butchering the quote, but it's basically along the lines of like, we have liars for politicians because the public demands ideology that no real person could ever live up to. So they're so demanding of this idealistic person that the only people that can fulfill them are liars. Pure liars.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, I produced this docu-series, and Michelle, she connected us, right? She's great. And she reached out to the whole UFO community, blasted out that this new film is out, and hey, check it out. Darcy did some great work, whatever. There was reports coming from her to me that there were certain personalities that have radio shows and have prominent podcasts in this UFO community that were pissed that this documentary is out. And I was like, why are they pissed? They didn't have anything to do with the grift of Corey Goode and David Wilcock. Like, what? But it touches on something apparently to these people, just like you're talking about, Sam. Like, we are so used to propping up liars and grifters that if you start to see somebody else not going with the flow, these other people in the community are immediately trying to shepherd. And they're like, how dare you?
Yes.
Like, fuck off. I was getting these messages and just thinking, do these people want to go to their grave believing bullshit? Or do they want to question some of these theories and narratives that have come out for the past 20 years from the UFO community that are obviously bullshit. Like, yes, there's UFOs. Yes, there's probably psyops in the community. And then there's just huckster bullshit. Let's move on from some of that stuff and try to get the real facts. You know, like that's where the golden nuggets are. What do you think about UFOs, Sam?
I'm more into the angels and demons side of it, but you know, getting back to, you know, this, you know, the community and stuff like that, it's like, yeah, everything is groupthink and conformity, dude. And wherever the people are, they want to get higher up because they think the higher up, that's more exposure, that's more money. So the only way you move up, it's kind of what's going on with archaeology right now. This, what is it, getting Tempe, whatever that site's called?
Gobekli Tepe, and Graham Hancock that kind of revealed the anomalies about that shouldn't be even existing according to modern archaeology. Yeah. So like that whole thing, like there's a real pushback but to actually take a look at it. Like there's some sites in like Armenia that like would change how we see everything. They don't want to even investigate it. Yeah, they want everything to be like, we have all bought into this narrative. This is the narrative in which we trained in. This is the narrative in which we put our time into. And we're going to keep pushing this narrative because if it goes the other way, all these experts are gone. And now it's a new bunch of experts. And people hate that shit. Yeah. It's like the boomers are holding on to the keys to truth like no tomorrow. And they do not want a new guard. They're like, I'm going to have like a robotic body and take over the planet with my mind. I don't know what the hell they're trying to do, but they just don't want to move on. Have you seen the pyramids at the bottom of the ocean off the coast of Cuba? Yeah, we've had people on before to talk about. Well, that kind of opened my mind to a lot because we'd had guests on talking about those pyramids, and while at the same time, you know, I had a Von Gall come on talking about Buddhism, and they were saying the exact same thing, and I'm like, wow, there seems to be something there that is kind of spiritual.
And we don't only get the groupthink from the mainstream science and academia and all that, but there's a ton of groupthink within the conspiracy communities as well. You know, back in 2019, I got banned from Gaia for pushing the ideological boundaries. Frickin' Gaia. Because I got invited to speak at one of their UFO conferences called Contact in the Desert, which Gaia owned. And I got a little too political for them. Like, I wasn't as lefty as they wanted me to be. And I was talking about space and questioning, well, why is John Podesta all for disclosure and Hillary Clinton all for disclosure? And can we really be sure this disclosure we're seeing in the mainstream is good? Because look at all these freaking weirdos promoting it. And Gaia basically, well, I had one show I did on their platform with George Norrie, and then after that event, they took it down. And then Gaia or Contact in the Desert refused to put DVDs of my talk out there, and they lied to everybody and said that they didn't put my DVDs out because I was cursing in it. Bullshit. I didn't curse at all in that speech. So Gaia, a bunch of soft, weak, closet lefties that they are, just didn't like my speech for political reasons and refused to put it out there. And this whole idea of UFO disclosure is sold to the public as being nonpartisan or non-political. But at the end of the day, a ton of people pushing this stuff are totally closet political. And it's just, you know, if you push their ideological boundaries, then they'll start attacking you for it or trying to shut you down.
Yeah. You see it again. It's like once the structure is enacted and created, it just becomes like everybody starts getting into the groupthink so they can move up that structure. Happens everywhere. And, you know, there's a lot of this there. Like, I don't know what the answer is. You know, I believe in Christ and I'm a Christian and all that for sure, but I don't know where we are, what created all that stuff. I mean, I know God created, but there's a lot of movements in this kind of time to detach people from God. anything but God, anything and all that stuff. And it's like, you know, with these whistleblowers, like I don't trust any of these freaking whistleblowers, and it sucks because I know some of them are telling the truth, but there's just like so many obvious plants put out there to send, you know, like the move the message in a certain direction by, okay, here's a new controlled op. They're going to say this and it's going to move it this way or that way. And it's so obvious and it's really sad. And it just seems like, in particular, the UFO disclosure is just full of just controlled oppositions, whistleblowers.
So
go ahead, Darcy.
To that point, like what you're making about these insiders and whistleblowers. I mean, they used to be called in the Gaia days, in the Corey Goode, David Wilcock narrative, insiders. And two of the most prominent ones that they used that were like their key figures to all this intelligence they were getting about the truth about UFOs and all the conspiracy and the cabal that's running the planet and all this stuff, right? One of them for David Wilcock was this guy named Pete Peterson. Pete Peterson, which Jay Weidner talks about directing on set of the Gaia television studio. He was like, we would film 8 hours of this guy rambling, just completely out of his mind, not even knowing what he's talking about. And we'd come away with 20 minutes of usable footage for the show. He was like, I wanted to rip. I'm serious. He's like, I wanted to rip my hair out.
Dude, he was like senile.
He was completely senile.
You know, it's so funny. That is, Eddie Griffin used to go to the Comedy Store and he would do like 3-4 hour sets. He would come into a full room, do 4-hour sets. Everyone would be gone. The only people left was his entourage. And I would tell people, I'm like, of that 3 to 4 hour set, 45 minutes of it was fire. And then the rest of it was just mumbo jumbo, dog. They're like, just gibberish, dude. Just nothing but gibberish. Just verbally jerking himself off on stage.
And when people are old, you know, they're in that senile camp, that generation. You don't want to cut them off. You want to respect your elders. And I think that's where the UFO community, when they heard this Pete Peterson guy and they saw David propping him up, they don't know that literally this guy's not paying his mortgage bills. He's a hoarder and he's got like dead cats stacked up to the roof inside of his house. Like the guy completely lost it. Yeah. David Wilcock, and here's like a very grifty story. He knowingly did a fundraiser to try and save Pete Peterson's house. But it was already foreclosed. And as we know, if something's foreclosed, the bank owns it. So David holds this fundraiser online. I think it was an Indiegogo or something like that. And he raised $60,000. Where did that money go? It definitely didn't go to Pete Peterson and saving that house because he died broke and basically homeless. That's the type of shit we're dealing with here with these people. And Corey Goode, he had an insider, like a whistleblower named Bill Tompkins, who did work for the Navy. He was like some kind of...
he was an illustrator.
He was an illustrator, you know, like pre-AutoCAD days where he drew all the plans of shipbuilding and stuff like that. So he did that, and he also made really cool models like planes and boats and shit. This guy was 92 years old. Let's say not in the prime of his life.
Yeah.
And they were parading this guy around to UFO conferences saying, he is the one. He is the only truth. Listen to him. And, you know, Bill would be like, well,
elder abuse.
The reptilians, they gave us shiny new UFO craft, and the Nazis were using the UFO craft in Antarctica to conduct my labs. It's like, what are people doing? Like, why are people listening to this? But everybody, as you know, when you go perform at like a stand-up comedy show or whatever, people they're caught up in the moment. You know, they're suspending their disbelief and they're letting you go. And I think at UFO conferences, that happens too. People just check their brain at the door and they're in awe. The story that's being told on stage has to be true.
Yeah, and also it's just like, it's why still people watch the news. They're so busy, they don't want to think, and they're like, I trust you. You are a symbol of authority. You know, I trust you. And they just, like, there's just people that they go so hard during the day. They just want to turn on TV for an hour, and they're like, I know you're not going to lie to me. Tell me what's going on in the world. And that's where they get that's where they get all their information from. These Tesla protests are great examples of the programming of people. I mean, we've seen, if you look at the demographics at these Tesla protests, I don't even know if they're still going on, but they were all over 55 and super progressive, which is who? The same people who watch MSNBC and CNN. Those are the exact demographics. I mean, we've been saying forever that the media programs you. Now we have definitive proof of it. It's right there. So that's what's going on. It's like, the sad thing is that there's just trusting people.
And that's that's why alternative media or conspiracy media, especially on social media, is such a wild west right now. And that's why it's perfect for these grifters to jump into, because they know people are moving away from the mainstream media and they're looking for alternative sources to get their news. So a lot of these opportunists are coming out of the woodworks and they're fabricating these grand stories, or they're just pushing this like conspiracy clickbait stuff to capture those people moving away from the mainstream media. And especially in the UFO world, because the UFO subject is so complex. I mean, it's been around for 50, 60, 70 years, and there's so many kind of sub genres or subcultures within the overarching UFO movement that, dude, I mean, if somebody's homeless and out of a job and needing money, just call yourself a secret space program whistleblower and say that you've talked to aliens, and dude, Guy will hire you.
I mean,
like, you'll get a job like that.
Yeah, let's not forget Ancient Aliens.
How
crazy was Ancient Aliens when it came out? It was good first couple episodes, and then you're like, they're just giving anybody a fucking mic.
My favorite thing about Gaia was that anytime it seemed as though anytime he needed money, they would just they were like, well, we can't pay you anymore, because they had this scheme, right, where none of the hosts, they all had to get paid the exact same, right? Yeah. So they could come up with this scheme just to invent a new show he would like go find people, and that's how this whole thing really started, right? Was him going to find what's it? I can
Corey Goode.
Yeah, Corey Goode, right.
So David Wilcock brought on Corey Goode so he could have another show and make more money. Like, it's all money motivated, right?
So funny.
And then, to your point, one of the major promoters of David Wilcock in the early days was Ancient Aliens. He was on that show all the time, just talking mumbo jumbo. And, you know, interestingly, you're talking about these insiders and these whistleblowers today. They're just popping up everywhere. If you go on Twitter right now, there's a guy who says he's legit, the real thing. He is the whistleblower to listen to about UFOs. And all of his messaging is coming from jail. Like, he's in prison doing this.
Oh, okay.
He's in prison saying, like, yeah, I'm the true god of ufology disclosure.
Dude, they all do that too. Corey called himself, what do you call himself? The Enoch of our modern times. It's like the delusions of grandeur these people have. They're so screwed in the head. And then they prop themselves up to be these cult leaders for their followers to idolize. It's like, it's an issue of cult-like thinking, I think, in our world, but particularly what we're talking about.
David Wilcock right now says that his latest book is he channels Archangel Michael.
Oh,
and
he's selling that book for $100.
Yeah,
$100.
But I mean, is there people that buy it?
Tons.
Dude, what?
Then why? I mean, as much as can we really hate on it? Someone's gonna pay $100 for some bullshit.
Shame him, yes. Yes, we can hate on
You can
that.
shame him. Yeah. I mean, but it's crazy. I kind of got to give the guy $100 on a book.
Oh, so you're respecting the grift is what you're saying. You're like, hey, respect the game. Is that what you're saying?
Have you seen we don't smoke the same merch?
We can hate the player and hate the game here, both of it.
Both, but I'm just kind of impressed that he can get away with $100 on a book. That's mostly where I'm like, holy crap.
Oh, we get it.
But dude, he's channeling Archangel Michael, man. If
dude,
he
it's
channeled
so
Archangel
crazy.
Michael.
Does he do it on? Are there audio recordings of him doing this, or is it?
Oh yeah, if you go to he has a Sunday live stream YouTube show every Sunday of the month, and in super chats he makes about 3 to 5K every Sunday.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
Hey guys, listen, I know people are really busy and eating healthy gets harder and harder. And that's why I want to tell you about our good friends at HomeChef. They're number one in quality, convenience, and taste and recipe ease. Let me tell you about HomeChef.
If you're trying to save money, maybe you've limited your dining out. You're not eating out as much. But with the price of food lately, it seems like there's not much of a difference between eating out and staying in. And to make matters worse, there's also so many unhealthy options out there that you have to kind of sort through. HomeChef can help you save money and eat healthier with their fresh, delicious meals that are delivered straight to your door.
HomeChef delivers fresh ingredients and chef-designed recipes conveniently to your doorstep to simplify your cooking experience. Users of the leading meal kits have rated HomeChef number one in quality, convenience, value, taste, and recipe ease. Okay, whether you prefer meal kits with pre-portioned ingredients, quick 30-minute recipes, oven-ready options, microwave meals, or dedicated family meals, HomeChef has everything you and your family need for a hassle-free, delicious dinner. HomeChef has over 30 options a week and several varieties of dietary needs.
For a limited time, HomeChef is offering our listeners 50% off and free shipping for your first box, plus free dessert for life. Go to homechef.com/tinfoil. That's homechef.com/tinfoil for 50% off your first box and free dessert for life. Homechef.com/tinfoil. Must be an active subscriber to receive the free dessert.
What do you think the main demographic is that donates to him, Darcy?
I'd say it's 60 to 80-year-old single women.
Yeah, that would have been my exact guess. That's fascinating. Wow.
Pretty much. And the same thing for Corey. Corey was on a podcast recently by Disclosure Girls with a Z, and the two ladies are like 75 years old. I don't think you'd call them girls with even a Z. So
you guys have you've been censored at UFO conferences?
No, I actually just attended one in San Francisco in the Bay Area, which is called UFO Con. They wanted me to show this documentary because the lady who puts that on, Lorian Fenton, she early on said, this guy Corey is bad news. I don't like him. And she was vocal about it. She got censored. So she wanted me to show this story that we documented. And that was cool. But yeah, I'm not being invited to a lot, that's for sure. And I mean, I appeared on Mark Gagnon's podcast with Jordan here, and like all of their followers were just fucking lighting up the comments, going insane, calling us grifters, like a total reverse psyop. It's like, dude, the documentary is about exposing grifting. How the hell am I a grifter?
And it's 99 cents. You're such a grifter for putting your doc up for 99 cents, bro. But yeah, I've dealt with some cancel culture from the UFO conferences. That one Contact in the Desert I was telling you about that I got invited to. Before I went to speak there, I got called up by the organizers of that event. And I guess when they announced that I was going to be speaking there, a bunch of people called them and were like, you can't have Jordan attend. He's anti-Semitic. He's a right-wing Nazi fascist or something like that. But there's some weirdos out there, man.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And it's like really sad that there's just a lot of people out there that have too much time on their hands. So they just like live vicariously through getting people canceled. They don't even care what you have to say. They just want your head on a stake. And what these people don't understand, because I have friends of mine who are getting canceled left and right and from venues, and they thrive on social media. I'm just the exact opposite. I'm getting my dick kicked in with shadow bans, but you know, I play all these clubs. But when they cancel these people, it's just a bunch of people who have nothing going on in their life. So they have to get up in the morning and they have to fight these shadows in the caves. They have to become Don Quixote and get on their fucking little donkey and fight these windmills where you're never, ever, 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 ever gonna find. There's no goal line. It's never a goal line. It just gives you a reason to live. I'm fighting fascism, even though I'm committing fascism myself by working with corporations and the government to silence people. But I you know, because I'm doing I'm the good fascist, not the bad. Bad fascism when you go after people I like. Good fascism when you go after people I don't like. It's just crazy to me. People don't see it, especially with these anti-Semitism laws. It's like now this thing came out. You guys see this 4chan hack that just happened? Where they were breaking down, and who knows if it's real, but it lines up with everything we've ever seen. What
is it lining up with?
Well, they say the country that posts the most anti-Semitic posts is Israel.
Yeah, I saw it. Okay, yeah, I know what you mean now. Yeah.
Right? How many times do you see like a swastika on a synagogue, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, the rabbi did it." You're like, every time.
Makes sense though, right? Kind of makes sense. I mean.
Crazy. I mean, it's just like these keyboard warriors, once they've canceled somebody successfully, they're waking up like, who are we canceling next? And, you know, that's how they get empowered. And, you know, people who go out and entertain or go out and talk about risque ideas, sure, you know, that they become a target. It's like that old saying, if you stand up like a nail, somebody else out there wants to hammer you in or hammer you down, right? Like they don't want you to stand up. Crabs in a bucket type mentality. And when you're exposing stories like this, people hate that. They don't like their illusions to be destroyed, right? Because some of these people that follow the charlatans, they've been following them for like 10 years, Sam. They ain't getting off the fucking wagon anytime soon. Right. So when you stand up to their leader and you say stuff that's critical of them, they're coming after you in hordes. It's like totally sheep-like mentality. And it's coming from this weird niche community, which is strange to me, but it happens everywhere. It happens everywhere. And truth should be, like you were saying earlier, it should be the most common currency today. It should be the most powerful currency, but it's not.
I just think some people aren't capable of understanding it. They just aren't. And they're just, I mean, I'm trying not to say it in a derogatory way because they're just nice, simple folk. And they're, you know, like if we believe that humans are mammals, right? I mean, I think we're made from God, not some evolution bullshit, you know, but if we're going to go with that, like mammals need leaders and these apex predators who are basically running this Luciferian, Malachian world that we live in. They know that. And it's like Pike said, hey, dude, when they need a leader, we'll supply them. And that's what they just keep doing. But I think people are waking up to it. I think you're going to start to see more and more people waking up to these things. Now, you're seeing Bernie Sanders playing all these giant rooms now.
Coachella.
Right?
Wasn't he at Coachella? Wasn't he at Coachella?
They were out here. He and AOC were out
He was at Coachella. Yes,
that's pretty crazy. I don't know
why. I'm surprised you're not there right now. Why aren't you there? Have you aged out?
Huh? Yeah, I think I'm a little too old for Coachella.
Oh, really?
Even though
Yeah,
Bernie's there.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Bernie's got to be the oldest guy to ever play coach.
Well, they're talking about him running for president with AOC. It's, the Democrats, they have nothing. The Democrats have nothing.
They have nothing. Yeah. They have nothing. And, you know, he's going to push this populist shit and the socialist shit. And
it's going to be old as the hills by the time.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's just super sad that that's where we are. And it's just like, these idiots just keep running back from these two parties, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And these are the two parties that are responsible for the dog shit you're in right now. When are you going to break out of it and go, we're not voting for these two assholes anymore? They're going to give you Bernie Sanders and fat Latina tits. And you're just going to be like, I'm telling you. And there's going to be I'm telling you, there's an AOC porn tape out there. I'm telling you, it's going to drop. It's going to drop, and everyone's going to be like, okay, you got my vote.
Yep.
You got my vote.
Like Johnny said, we're praying.
Bounce. Yeah,
I need it.
There's never been an independent that successfully ran for presidency. Like, it always, one of the two parties cannibalizes them, right? And that happened with RFK recently. Except it would have been amazing if Jesse Ventura had tried to run. He was a successful independent. You guys should have Jesse Ventura on. He's the man.
I'll have him on. That was my Jesse Ventura right there. If you were wondering what that was, that was my impression.
Oh man,
yeah. I mean, they say the only really true independent was George Washington. He was the first president, and
fair enough.
Yeah, that's it though. I mean, Ross Perot in modern times, you got Ross Perot had like 20%, and that's. I mean, there's your example. Yeah, that's it.
It's like the need for people to have a label and attach with that label, because humans are social creatures. We love our groupthink. We don't want to feel like we're outcast or ostracized because we want to feel like we belong. So people find groups with labels. They love to attach those labels to themselves. And if you dare question or expose any kind of issues with that label, with that group, people in their ego identities get all upset and I need to call myself a liberal, a conservative, a vegan, a whatever the fuck. And then they just get all butthurt when that group starts to get questioned, and they'll attack you personally for that and try to cancel you.
Yeah, it's really crazy. It's really crazy when you're just like asking questions and you get into these sacred cows and you really start to understand that these people they either don't honestly believe it or they have such blind faith they've never questioned it. So once you start to question it, you really question their mental capacity and abilities, and it upsets them. There's nothing in my life where these beliefs I have where you can't question them. There's nothing in there. Hey, dude, I had some guy the other day like going, you're questioning these numbers over here. What about the Armenian genocide? I go, my No, it was actually like, you don't know what it's like to see your whole family die in front of you. I go, my grandfather was in the village of Vaughan, watch his entire family get slaughtered by the Turks. And you could look into it. You can question anything you want it because I know the facts, and the facts are that happened. And if you don't want me to discuss it, it's probably because you know there's some bullshit going on. And you see that a lot in again, with the UFO community, there's a lot of like a detachment from God. A lot of that is like this whole belief that there is this group of these entities, these alien life forms that are so much more powerful than us. And like eventually they're just going to run everything and we're just going to be cattle. And it's like, give up, just give up. And that's a big part of this. And all these whistleblowers come out. They all just keep saying the same ass bullshit. And it's just this slow roll of just constant, like anxiety driven bullshit.
Yeah. So there are competing narratives with that, right? Like straight up, I'm a Catholic, but not a very good Catholic. But with ufology, I'm like nuts and bolts. I think this has got to be if people are taking pictures and video of craft, like there's something physical here. There's something tangible, right?
Yes.
Then you got people like Greer. He's like, all of this is extraterrestrial intervention, and they're trying to save us, and they're all good, and they're like angels, right? Which is like, kind of, it's ridiculous. That's almost like leaving yourself open to be blindsided if you follow that logic, right? Because as above, so below, in my opinion. Like, if we live in a predatory world, nobody's going to look out for you by default. And I don't think out in the universe, if there is extraterrestrials, they're looking out for us, right? That just doesn't make sense to me. Then you got guys who think that there's reptilians and they're trying to eat everybody. Then you got guys who are saying there's going to be an invasion and, none of it is good. I don't know what to make of it. We need facts, right? That's the first and foremost thing. And if you follow God, go ahead. Like that, everybody has their sovereignty, has their own truth and their ability to go where they want with their life. But in the UFO community, it happens more often than not that these people stand up and say that they know the real truth about this whole phenomenon. There's a whole bunch of dollars behind it, and they're trying to take your dollars.
And don't you dare threaten them, because they'll sue you if you do. Yeah. I got threatened to get sued by Corey before. Never did, but
yeah, I mean, that sucks. And so are there lawsuits with Corey? Are there lawsuits with David?
Yeah. Right now, if you want to kind of like keep on the up and up on these guys, which is always interesting to follow, there's 2 pretty good podcasts that cover them, Hidden in Plain Sight and Truth Seekers. They're great. And these people just do like long streams, talking shit, looking at the court case documents, and, just having fun. It's all kind of comedy. But Corey Goode, his current lawsuit that's still active, which he might get deposed for, and so will David Wilcock, is between Goode Enterprises and Gaia Entertainment. So he did this really dumb thing, and he opened up a racketeering lawsuit, which is usually used to put mobsters in jail, right? Like,
what?
Yeah. And he named all of the president, the owner, and managers and stuff of Gaia Entertainment in a racketeering lawsuit. So it's insane. That was supposed to pretty much be settled about a week ago, and that's possibly going to end up now in depositions and going to court. So get your popcorn ready for that one. And then David Wilcock has lawsuits that he's fighting right now because of the Stavati Aerospace company he set up, which is supposed to be hover cars and UFOs they're building. Or like, I don't know, knockoff MiGs and weird fighter jets. This guy is basically fighting all of this financial lawsuits for people that invested millions of dollars into his Stavati Aerospace. And they're like, where's the money? Where's the craft? We want our money back. Can't hear you.
Sorry. Just because you have money doesn't, I'm starting to learn, just because you have money doesn't mean you're smart. Doesn't mean you're smart. I mean, what people throw their money into, it's just absolutely insanity. Hey, dude, here's $1 million. Make flying cars. I'm like, okay. All right. I mean, unbelievable.
Yep. Here's a blank check. I made a whole bunch of money somewhere else in my life. I trust you. Go build a hover car. It's like, what?
It's crazy. Now, we've talked about whistleblowers, but you're saying some of these are just straight up lying and they're just doing it for fame and fortune?
Yeah.
Like they're not even like a controlled op. They're just like, I've seen stuff. Give me money.
I think a lot of these people are delusional. Some of them are just suffering from maybe schizophrenia, delusion, mental illness. And yeah, some of them are straight up grifters, looking for a buck, looking for fame, and coming out with some fabricated stories.
Any evidence, any Photoshop, anything where you're like, okay, I see you trying, or is it straight like, okay, like you're not even putting any effort into this theory?
Not even trying.
Not even trying.
Yeah. Like with Corey Goode, his big sort of story that he launched through Gaia was that there were these blue bird people, these blue aliens that were bird people called the Blue Avians. And they were part of the Sphere Being Alliance. And we got some cool illustrations, and he made a comic book out of it. That's the best we got out of his story. We got no pictures. He got some documents from a guy that we know in the UFO community that was at one point connected to military intelligence. His name is Bob Wood. Is that right, Jordan? Bill Wood?
Bill Wood, Bob Wood. The one that worked for Douglas, right?
Douglas Aircraft, yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't. Was he? I don't think he was connected to intelligence, but he was
he got
engineer.
He got the dirds from somebody who was.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Right. And the dirds were some kind of documents that were official military reports talking about UFOs and so on and so forth. Nothing about Sphere Being Alliance or Blue Avian bird people or any shit like that. But, you know, what do they say if you give a guy a little bit of rope, right? And that's what Corey Goode took and thought he was a cowboy with.
Those blue birds were just beautiful. Love the blue bird.
Let me ask you something. What do you two guys believe is the truth? What do you think of UFOs? What do you think of aliens? What do you guys think? I think I'm more of an angels and demons type guy. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, in my case, you know, of course, I don't know what the truth is, but my best guess is that I'm kind of a little bit of everything and a little bit of nothing at the same time. Like, I do think there are nuts and bolts craft out there. I think our government, our military industrial complex has their own UFOs or black triangles, their own electrogravitic tech that they've hid from the public for a long, long time. So I do think there's some nuts and bolts stuff, but I do think extraterrestrials exist from outside our planet. I think they could take metaphysical forms, angels and demonic forms. I think they could also take physical forms. I mean, if you look at the human body, we have a metaphysical consciousness, but we have this body meat suit as well. So I think life out there in the cosmos can probably be both metaphysical or physical with a variety of agendas, just like us humans here on this planet have a variety of agendas. So could be good ones, could be evil ones. And then, yeah, I guess that kind of encapsulates my beliefs. It's kind of a little bit of everything.
Darcy, what do you think it is?
I'm not convinced there's a galactic federation. That sounds like Star Trek to me. I don't think that there's reptilians. I feel like it's just a loose end and somebody spinning another yarn. Well, when I hear about like grays, and that's just really part of our like culture now, that's almost like a meme. Maybe there were some kind of encounters at one point, whether that is some kind of demonic creature or, you know, angelic being or something. I don't know. But I do believe in this nuts and bolts aspect of it. And, you know, if people 2,000 years ago witnessed a guy walk on water and split fish and bread into thousands of pieces, maybe there's something there if there was enough witnesses. Same thing with UFOs. If you got thousands of people around the world that are all taking pictures, videos, you know, they're being seen around really weird places, military complexes and installations and stuff. nuclear defense rocket silos and stuff and being shot out of the sky, that type of thing. There might be some truth to it. I just don't know what it is.
What would you say about Roswell? Do you think that was the first UFO, or do you think that was the first psyop that the government was like, here, let's start giving them UFO shit, let's start giving them alien stuff, or do you really think that was a real first crash?
So I think the psyop with Roswell is people today talking about it as if it's bullshit, because we know that we have the actual newspapers where the initial report was the Air Force saying they captured a crash craft. And then the exact same week, they published a new article saying, oh, it was just a weather balloon, right? That's the psyop. That's like the intelligence agencies saying, let's just treat them like they're stupid, right? Yeah. Whether, who was on board, whose craft it was, all that jazz, that's up for debate. But it's obviously something more advanced than the propeller airplanes that people were using then, right? The YB-49 was like the first rocket propelled V-shaped craft, and that was like 2-3 years after that. So I think something is real, and especially with Roswell, there's like hundreds of people that have come forward about that. Ranch hands that were seeing the collection of the debris and the cover-up happening in the local town. Police officers, sheriffs have come forward, people from the Air Force that were part of the cleanup saying, yeah, they wanted us to not say a thing. And they recovered bodies, right? So I don't know. Like, if we live...
Yeah, but real quick, they told you they recovered bodies. I mean, so it's like, how deep does it go? Like, at what point does the truth stop, or was there any truth at all? Like, if we go, okay, there's something, and I'm not trying to challenge you, I'm just spitballing,
it's cool.
Like, how deep does this go? Like, what if they were trying to fly a new craft and it crashes? Now they got to make up this new kind of fucking story. Oh,
right. That makes the most sense to me. Like, it was a man-made one, and then the cover-up is just calling it aliens, and that's kind of what I think they're doing.
Is that to cover up like that? We're that advanced to the Russia or China or whatever?
Right.
That's what I think they're doing the past 8 years. Like, you're seeing UFOs in the New York Times and mainstream media and all over the place now. It's like they're saying it could be Russia, could be China, could be aliens, but we know for a fact it's not U.S. made technology.
Yeah. They're just so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. But like what they make you try to believe is just so dumb. Like in Jersey, those drones, they're like, we don't know what it is. I go, hold on. You don't know what it is, and you haven't dealt with it yet? You don't know what it is, but you haven't dealt with it yet?
Well, I've said from the start that the drones in Jersey were probably an op that was being conducted by some kind of, force within the United States. But if you don't have the need to know about that op, which is like the local mayor, the police, or Department of Homeland Security, if they don't have the need to know about that exercise, then, they're not going to say publicly. Why
wouldn't they run a cover for it, though? That's the part that doesn't make sense to me. Normally, they would have a cover for something like that.
Because they know that the population, that the media is so easily manipulated, they'll be like, people will just run with it's aliens, or they'll think it's Russia or something, and they'll leave it at that. But it was probably just an internal operation run by some kind of agency that was not the former that I just, said were commenting on it and asking about it, but couldn't get anything. Even the FBI couldn't get anything about it. They didn't have the need to know. That's the way the military works.
Not a foreign adversary, though. You doubt that.
I doubt that wholeheartedly, dude.
Yeah.
I also think that, 9/11, it kind of fits into this thing, in like that 4chan post about the Vegas shooting that came out 1 month before the Vegas shooting. What was in there said a big part of this psyop that's about to happen is that they want you to know that no matter how much security there is, you're never safe, that they can get you at any time. And if you study 9/11, seems like that. The most fortified airspace in the world. Bang. Suddenly these 20 desert people pull off some Luke Skywalker taking out the Death Star bullshit. And we're supposed to believe that? Same thing with the weather balloons. Like, we don't know what to do. Oh my God, it's a weather balloon, you know? And then a week later, like, yeah, we shut down this alien craft that was in Canada. I'm like, hold on, the air balloon you didn't know how to deal with, but this thing that just flew light years away, you went pew 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 pew, and it's like, you know, it's everything is just psychological warfare, dude. And the same thing. Oh, we don't know what they are. We don't know what they are. And then Trump's like, I wish they'd just tell you what it was. It'd be so much easier, which is all a giant, you know, mind fuck. It's just a mind fuck you.
Yeah. They were saying that they were coming from the ocean, right? They were coming from offshore. So that means they had some kind of launch platform way out there, and they were coming in droves, like huge swarms. Who knows? Maybe they're testing out 1984 technology so that drones are constantly flying around our cities, monitoring us and enforcing laws. I don't know.
Yeah, and see how bad we react, which we didn't react that crazy. I mean, there's a couple people that shot at it, but at the end of the day, everybody was just recording it and bitching about it, but no one really did nothing about it. So if they did it again, we'd eventually be over it. If they did it for a month straight, we'd be like, oh, look, they're there again. And then now they're there for a year, and now we don't give a fuck, and that's part of life now.
Exactly. It's like culture shock desensitization. You have it at the gas pump every now and then. The price goes way up. Everybody's like, holy shit. Price goes down a little bit. You're like, it's normal. Yeah, it's normal now. Whatever. It's just high prices, right? I think that's what tariffs are too. It's like normalizing us to really expensive shit.
So crazy. All right, guys. Anything else? That was great.
Nope.
Jordan, I got to ask you a question real quick.
What's up, bro?
Like about 5 years ago, there was a really big march in Hollywood about child sex trafficking, and you were quite critical of it. And I know Scotty, the kid who was putting it, who was putting it together.
Yeah, I think I kind of remember. I might have been too critical of him.
Okay,
I barely remember.
It was very weird. It was, and listen, I was like, oh wow, that's a weird thing, because I know Scotty, and it was like, as far as I know, it was done in love, and it was very successful. But I knew that you had said that you had some apprehension about it. And I just was wondering what was your thinking.
Oh, I don't even remember my thinking. Yeah, that was a while ago. Yeah, there's some people I criticized back in the day that I probably shouldn't have. So he was probably one of those. I don't even remember. But if I don't remember, then he probably was one of those that I didn't. So.
Yeah, it was a really crazy event. It was like I thought there was going to be like a couple hundred people there. It was thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And I was like, wow, that's nuts, dude, that he put that together. And it was so crazy. And it's just like, the saddest part is nothing's changed. And it's just like, I just don't know. Like sometimes I go like, are there just apex predators that are just above everything, and they're just kind of here to kind of hurt us and call us, and you know?
Oh yeah, psychopaths, bro.
Yeah,
yeah.
And they're all related. Like when I was on Rogan was like, you know, do you believe in lizard people? And I'm like, I don't know, but they all seem to be related. They all seem to be related when, like, you know, the Queen Elizabeth says she's both related to Val the Impaler and the Prophet Muhammad. You're like, how is that fucking possible, dude?
Inbred Nephilim, bro.
Inbred Nephilim. You know, the Nephilim, that to me spirituality seems to be to me a big thing. That's it. Everything is aliens to me, guys. This was a great episode. I thought it was great.
Speaking of Rogan, apparently he was next door neighbor to David Wilcock at one point. I would love to pick his brain about what he thinks of these guys.
David Wilcox is I don't it's like that's not really my lane. I don't really get into that woo-woo world and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's super
Probably better. It's probably better that way.
Yeah, I just
saves you money and time.
Yeah, it's interesting thing, and just like this like big push right now on the internet by a lot of people to like demonize Jesus and demonize, Christianity, like Jesus didn't exist or Jesus is this, Jesus is that. It all just kind of lines up to me with this thing to detach everybody from God, to get you into a place where you're not spiritual at all, and you don't think that there's a higher power and all that stuff, and then you just start drifting into the low vibrational, and then that's when you start to get high anxiety, depression, sadness. You get out of shape, you're lethargic, all that shit. So it's very interesting to me.
The flip side of that is a person who knows that God and Jesus and the whole Christian community is quite vast, and they go to that community and market their own brand of Christianity or, stardom, basically. They become the conduit to speak to God, right? And should it be that way? I don't think so.
And some people do believe in a higher power, but that higher power is Satan to them, right? So,
big time.
I don't think it matters what path you decide to go down, whether it is Christianity, a Western religion, Eastern religion, philosophical concept, as long as you believe in something outside of yourself and you're not selfish with it. Because some people believe something outside of themselves, but it's very self-centered, i.e. Satanism, or you go down these New Age Luciferian paths. So as long as whatever you believe is helping you see something objective outside yourself, divine, and you're not being self-centered with it, but using that philosophy or that spiritual path to help other people.
Well, that's my biggest thing. I was talking to my good friend last night, and I was telling her, like, that dark people, mean people, quote unquote evil people can manifest as well. They can manifest things happen. I've seen it where like nasty comedians have like manifested their way to the top, but they always end up losing it all. They really do end up losing it all because they don't do the one thing you're supposed to do, and that is give it away. You're supposed to help others. There's a lot of people who have their certain views of Joe Rogan, but I'll tell you one thing, nobody's helped other people more than that guy. I mean, that guy has made more successful comedians than since Johnny Carson, and he's helped a lot of people. And, there gets into this thing, again, that we kind of discussed earlier, that anybody successful has to be, controlled op, and the only people who keep it real are the ones that can't get anything going, right? And I get it. It gets super frustrating when you're working your ass off and you think that what you're doing is far superior to anybody else's, or that you don't understand why they're getting theirs. I see that a lot with I don't know what you guys' opinion are, but I see a lot of this with Ian Carroll. A lot of people don't like Ian Carroll because he suddenly blew up out of nowhere, but they don't realize that he was on TikTok for a while. But for me, I go, what is Ian Carroll saying that seems so crazy? And he seems to be calling out all the sacred cows. So we'll see. I just know in these day and age. Okay, go on. Sorry, did you have something to comment on that at all?
Well, I was going to say, like, Ian Carroll is just a new voice, and whenever somebody's a new voice, the old guard doesn't like it. It's like they feel challenged and they don't want to lose grip on the control of a narrative that they're spinning. I don't know. I was going to say, you were talking about the whole challenge to Christianity thing. Did you see? And I love Joe Rogan. I listen to his stuff. But he platformed Billy Carson, and Billy Carson is like exactly what you're talking about. This guy is trying to single-handedly tell a broad community that Jesus is a lie and Christianity is a lie and all that stuff. And he got checked by Wes Huff.
To be fair, though, he also had Wes Huff on who executed publicly Billy Carson. So
that's true. He balanced that out.
And I would have Billy Carson on. I would go, okay, what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on what happened? It's again, I mean, like I've had Adam Green on the show and I would have him on again. And he thinks the whole Jesus thing is a lie. My biggest thing is like, I don't want to be the guy who decides what is the good information and what is the bad information. Like we had a guy right now recently on that I enjoyed, but he's using NASA data and he's using space data and he's doing all this crazy shit. And he's talking about mRNAs are great. And again, I had him on and I would have him on again. I wholeheartedly disagree with that. My show is the show where I let people talk about it. I would let those guys on because I think it's important to hear all the data. We've had guys on the show like Bishop Larry Gators who had a green light to come on the show anytime he wanted. And he came on here and he said that Trump was still running the government and he got his dick kicked in the comment section and he started hating us. And even though we were like, dude, we always let you on. Why are we the bad guys? Oh, we're Satan worshipers. We're all this kind of crazy shit. And it's just crazy. See, that's how I want my show to be. It's like, it's very Art Bellish. I never listened to Art Bell a long time ago, but I started listening to some of his tapes for a while. And it was just like, again, it's like almost what you say, give enough rope, they'll hang themselves. And God have mercy on your soul in the comment sections, because you're going to find out real quick on whether you fake the funk on a nasty dunk or not. And it's just like, that to me is what is really important. And I would have, some people might get mad at me for having Billy Carson on, but I would love to ask him how his life has been since then. What is his thoughts on that? Has he changed any of his thoughts? And again, like if you go, Sam, what do you think this world we live in is? And I would go, I think it's every movie that's ever written all at one time. I think this is a battle royal of energy where like all these different things from different dimensions and spirituality and whatever, they just come here like it's the battle royal and everyone he bangs and either you get to see it or you don't see it. But it's between you and God. That's my honest belief. I think Jesus was a cheat code sent down here to tell us how to survive this energy thing, because, I personally believe that God gave everybody free will, and how they choose to use it is up to them. That is the game that we play. That, we get constantly told different rules to this realm. And when I look back on my life, I go, man, where's a lot of my problems come from? Guess what? My dick has got me in a lot of fucking bad situations where like a lot of low vibrational shits happen. And it's constantly, don't lust, don't do this, don't do that. But free will, I didn't want to listen. So that's my opinion on everything. I believe
the only thing is, how should have Rogan handled Billy Carson? Should not have him on? Should he had him? Because Rogan doesn't really know the Bible like that. So some guy comes on and says, "Hey, I know some facts."
Yeah, that's funny though. This is the Douglas Murray argument, right?
Yeah,
He's like, if you're gonna have somebody like this on, you should have them on with some kind of ombudsman, there to just kind of swat them on the nose with a newspaper every time they get a fact wrong.
I
think that's why Rogan had Douglas Murray on, because he didn't know about the book he was going to push. So he had David Smith go on there and kind of be like, hey, push back a little because I can't.
I think Douglas Murray was on there in response to Dave Smith spouting that historians take on Churchill.
Well, it seemed like he was there to promote a book.
That he was worse than a Nazi.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Right. Yeah.
You can't be an expert on everything. And I don't expect Joe to be. And I like that his show is a panel where he gets to field some ideas that are different, right? That's great. But a platform is powerful, and when you end up on the Kardashians, as we were talking about before, that's a massive platform. It's not the platform I would care for. I don't give a shit about the Kardashians.
But it's huge. You're right. It's huge.
But it's huge.
Yeah,
you're right. You're like, the Rogan effect is real. People get made. It's like mob life, for entertainers. And so when you have somebody that's promoting bullshit and just talking out their ass, fools out there are being fooled, and it gets done in a larger echo chamber than ever before. I think there's some truth to the UFO stuff that's out there. And one of the guys he had on recently was Jason Sands, and people question that guy's validity. And, no one's been put up there to challenge that. But he's a made man now, and it's all, I pursue my documentaries, even if I challenge you publicly, I mean it with love, I'm trying. I think truth is the greatest love you can ever give somebody, because you're trying to make sure people aren't deceived. You're trying to make sure you're looking out for others. And, you get hate for that. And I'm not trying to express this in a hateful way. I mean, even Johnny, you were saying at the starting of the show before Sam popped in, it took me a little while watching your show until I realized, okay, they're actually kind of saying that this is BS, right?
Yeah, I didn't realize it was a little bit of it's a takedown. Yeah, I mean, I'm just so used to when we get sent these clips or documentaries that for them to be kind of credulous things, where they're going into it believing what they're being told, and the subjects of the documentaries are typically people they're treating with reverence. So yeah, I quite enjoyed it. I recommend it highly.
The way that I was doing that story was with respect, with care, talking to people that were on the ground floor, not just coming out loud and proud and screaming that this person was a charlatan, right? That's not my job. But, kind of talking about this on podcasts and stuff, I got lit up in the comments because people are so defensive of some of these ideas. They just will not allow these new theories or new facts enter their minds.
Yeah, it's super interesting, and it's a big reason why I don't do debates is the Dave Smith, Douglas Murray. I feel like everyone came in there who was on Dave's side, left there thinking Dave won. And then everybody who was on Douglas Murray's side left there thinking Douglas Murray won. It does not matter. We are living in a post-fact apocalypse right now. There are no facts. There is only feelings. And no matter what data is presented to you, you hold on to your feelings over fact. It's the ultimate way to control people. Nobody has critical thinking anymore. If someone says something that you don't like, you automatically start to tune it out. And it used to be more on the left, but now I'm seeing the right doing that as well. And it's just inability to accept. And then on top of that, the amount of bots now on Twitter,
it's insane,
are just causing people to fight with each other. And it's
you think Elon's letting that run? You don't think
I guarantee you
100%.
I guarantee you part of him going to Auschwitz was a discussion about you can't get rid of these bots because these astroturf are narrative. I guarantee it.
Yeah, it's like an echo chamber effect, when you have these bots that are super liking YouTube videos, loving all the Twitter comments, loving all the Instagram posts. It's like an illusion. It's basically creating this echo chamber to prop up one form of speech over somebody else's. And yeah, it's bullshit. My Twitter was getting botted, and I finally was just like, this is bullshit. I went into this guy who's like an activist hacker or white hat. He reached out to me and was like, hey, if you do this to your account, it'll get rid of all these fake accounts that are circling every post that you put out. So now my interactions are completely limited to real people.
Hold on. What do you got to do?
Yeah. What'd you do? Because this got me banned.
I got banned too. And then I just kept reaching out to Twitter and being like, somebody's doing this to me. I don't know what the hell is going on, But I don't know where
Wait,
these
how
bots
long did
come from.
I'm in there? It's a debacle for me. It's been like 2 months now. How many times did you have to appeal, and when did
So I appealed twice, and I also had like probably 4 or 5 other friends reach out on my behalf to the support team and say, like, this dude's not doing anything wrong. Like, he just posts and this shit's happening.
How did they? Was that in the X era? Was that recent?
It was like the February of this year is when my account just got nuked.
That's
like, it
when
was
mine-
like, you're
that's exactly when
suspended.
Mine got nuked too.
And I'm like, what the heck? Like, I'm not. And so, anyways, it came back. Then the bots were gone for a little bit. And then they came back in a swarm on every post. And I was like, pissed off. People were like commenting, hey, you got all these bots. I'm like, dude, it's not by my design. So this dude reached out to me. If you go to your settings and you go to your privacy, if you go to your post settings, you can check off these boxes that say only allow interactions from like verified accounts or accounts that are, older than a year or something like that. There's these like little check boxes, and that gets rid of all of these like, accounts that are made on server farms or something that probably were made today just to bot posts. And they can't interact with your posts anymore once you check off these settings and privacy.
So
how did
settings
they?
and privacy, I'm gonna look at that.
Out of curiosity, what support did they reach out to? Because I've been unable to find any actual humans on the other end. Just the appeal thing.
I'll fight everybody, dude.
Yeah, I'll forward you the emails I sent, and I'll forward you like screenshots of the stuff I did for my privacy settings to completely get rid of all
Which
that
one of the
shit.
ones do you go to stop the bots? Which in your settings?
You have to go to your. Where's my phone? Here's my phone. I'll tell you where. So you go to your settings. But it's so you go to
security and account access, privacy and
the
safety.
gear, and then I'm in message settings. Give me a sec. So you go to the
your Social
gear.
Security. Go there.
What?
Okay.
So you click on your profile. Click on your profile.
Okay.
Right. And then that bar slips out that shows like profile, premium, bookmarks, all that shit. Settings, and support at the bottom. Settings, privacy.
Okay.
Then you go to
settings and privacy. Okay.
Privacy and safety.
Okay.
And then you go to, I think, audience and tagging.
Okay.
Protect your posts. Click that over. Protect your videos. Click that over.
Okay.
And then,
so that will stop anyone who doesn't follow you from seeing your shit. Yeah. So that's a little different, but I'm in.
And then wait. And then I'm just trying to find where this guy sent me before. You go to your posts. Nope. You go to
Sam, while you're on Twitter there, you should unblock me.
You must
got blocked
because of that child protest thing.
Oh, was it?
I bet it was that. Yeah. We have a pretty liberal block policy around here just because we get so much shit from people.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm not taking it personally. I'm just giving you.
Wait a sec. Let me look at my communication with this guy, and he'll show me. He told me exactly where to go. Give me a sec. Patrick Gorman is the name of the dude, and you go to privacy and safety. Select mute and block. So when you go to mute and block, then you'll see tap muted notifications. And when you go to muted notifications, you have to click the check boxes that enable from people you don't follow, from new accounts, from accounts with a default profile photo, from accounts that haven't confirmed their email.
Hold on. So you go to settings and then you hit what?
Oh, yeah.
You go to settings and privacy, then you go to privacy and safety. Then you go to select mute and block. So under the mute and block settings, you go to tap mute notifications.
Okay, hold on. Okay, I'll hit you up and we'll go through this later. I feel like
I'll just text it to you right now, man.
Yeah.
I'll text you the instructions, and when you see that shit, like literally as soon as you check off these boxes, these like bots will disappear. Like you'll never see them interact with your shit ever again. I'll send you 2 texts because
all right, unblocked you. You're unblocked.
Now, other people will
gangsta.
see them, all right? Other people, since you're just muting them for yourself, other people will see them if they're shit posting or spamming your tweets, right?
I
It's just you
don't
who won't see them.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that the bots disappear because then when that's a mute and blocks section, right? So you mute them, but then the algorithm sees that you've muted them and it actually like blocks their interactions with your posts.
Oh, interesting.
I'm pretty sure.
Hey, real quick, guys. I don't want to keep you guys forever, but what'd you guys think of the big bitches in space? The girl night in outer space. What'd you guys?
Oh God, that should have been a one-way ticket, man.
Yeah, dude.
I know.
I'm surprised they're Botoxed didn't.
Oh, dude,
Pop
they
out or
sent
something.
trans in space. It's unbelievable. I was talking to somebody the other day about that. It's like, it's so crazy. The richer you get, the more you want your girlfriends to look trans. It's so fucking weird. So fucking weird. All right, guys, great show. We made up. We love each other. We don't even know why we didn't love each other. We were just like, now we don't love each other. Now we love each other again. I don't even know why.
It's all love, brother.
Thank you for coming out. One more time, Jordan, tell them where they can find you.
JordanSather.com at Jordan_Sather_ on X, Twitter, whatever the hell you want to call it. I'm also on Telegram and Instagram. You can just search Jordan Sather. So go find me, friends.
Darcy, where can they find you?
Studio site, if they want to see some of my films, occultjourneys.com, and Twitter at occultjourneys, and just Darcy Weir Films on Instagram or Facebook. That's where I'm at.
All right, so great episode, guys. Let's break it down. Johnny, what do you think?
I watched the doc and I recommend it. You can find it on Tubi. That's where I watched it. It is it's so funny. They actually have people who seem more credibly to have claimed to be in the secret space program, and they would bring them around these fakes and see kind of how they acted. And dude, every time they would be like try to hide, try to get away from him, refuse to interact with the person who seemed legit.
Crazy.
Yeah, and they would and then so what happened was the guy that worked, the guy who was a skeptic of them, he found another person who had a pretty credible case for being in the secret space program, and he didn't tell them anything about the guy, and he secretly flew them in to sit on the show with the bullshit artist. And dude, he said the guy just completely shut down. Didn't like when military people get together, they tend to reminisce. They kind of do that legit check on each other, like, oh, where'd you serve? Who'd you serve with? And the legit guy was interested in that, but the con artist was not. The alleged con artist was not interested in that. And every time what they would come back with to him was like, dude, he's controlled opposition. And he would be like, how do you know? You didn't even know his name. I didn't tell you his last name. How do you, and you never heard of him until this exact
see that
moment.
with everybody. You just see that and it's like you're so paranoid you trust no one but yourself,
Well,
and
in their case though, they're lying is what it is. And they're
100%. 100%, dude. And it's just like, and they're totally right. Maybe it's not even that they're controlled up. They're just grifters. They're just like trying to create a brand. Yeah, that happens for sure. I believe that wholeheartedly. I mean, isn't it crazy that we start talking about grifters and controlled op and XG somehow just falls off the show?
He said his
conveniently
computer
can't get back on.
Says computer
conveniently.
Isn't that the second computer he's had that's crashed? Because he had
like how many computers this guy got? What is he? The AIDS of computer?
That's
Johnny,
great.
go to samtripoli.com.
I would love to. I love Sam. You know, it's my favorite website, samtripoli.com.
I love that about you. I am cranking out so much material on
I
there.
go there
dude.
all the time.
Look at that, dude. And they haven't even put up the new Doom scrolling. But you go there, all the episodes are there. You can watch it. There's a new episode almost daily. This week, it was like definitely every day, sometimes twice a day. You go there, you go check that out. You go to my premium content is fire. We're putting up 3 a week. I know over the last week and a half, there hasn't been any because my schedule got so effing nuts. So I'm super sorry about that. Super duper.
You also
sorry
have this thing where you refuse to bank content. Like as soon as you record it, it goes out. You won't sit on it. So to Sam's credit, he just puts it out right away. Most people will kind of sit back and hold on to some of it and put it out. You know, when they had a lull and maybe you get some outdated material. Not Sam. It's going out every time.
Bang, dude. I'm just spitting magic all the time. Johnny, real quick, go to events. I forgot to say I want to thank everybody that was there at the big event, the big Gavin McGinnis. Johnny, did I spell that wrong? And then that's on. Thank you, Johnny. I know that. I apologize to him. And he said it's okay. Nobody really cares about that. He said to me, he goes, "Hey, dude, that's great. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. We're just living our best life." Okay. Then I'm gonna do the revival is back, guys. You know the revival, and it's spirituality, politics, comedy. It's an hour of power.
I love politics.
Johnny, you do love politics. That's what's I've always said about you, dude. And that's on the May 1st, then Bellflower on the 10th, Cleveland, Ohio. By the time this goes, you get this video, Connecticut, the Opera House will be up. Fun shows for fun people. Fun shows.
That place in Cleveland is called Hilarities, though. Are you sure you're meant to go there, Sam?
Johnny, you're a wacky guy. Johnny, go to Cash Daddies.
I would love to go to Cash Daddies too. Let's just do that.
Yeah, check that out, Johnny. Tell me about your experiences with this show.
Well, Howie has been absolutely killing it lately. You would think with the situation with the tariffs that tanking tanking the stock market that we would be losing money, but no, Howie knows how to bank from profit from volatility, and what we have had has certainly been volatility, and Howie's killed it. Absolutely.
Love it, dude. So get on that. $20 seems like a lot, but trust me, if you play your cards right and everything goes according to plan, we believe you could make more money.
Yeah,
there's going to be times.
Make sure you sign up. Don't sign up in the app on the Apple App Store. We found out they charge you $9 extra.
Yeah, do not sign up on the app. Okay.
Yeah. Sign up to your web browser.
Yeah, not after that. Okay, then you go back to samtripoli.com if you could. And t-shirts, new t-shirts, Chaos Twins on fire, dude. Chaos Twins are on fire. New t-shirts are available. Can you click the new t-shirt one?
Yeah, of course you can, Sam.
Please, dude. Very excited about the new t-shirts. Very excited. Just waiting for you. Oh, look at that. Common Sense is the new punk rock. Look at that. We got some new ones for you. The old classics. Conspiracy, Loyal to the Foil, Deer Program. Look at all those classics. I got a new one. Coming out, dude. Wait till you see that. Look at that Project Bluebeam.
I just bought one of these boys right here.
Look at that. Wake up, Aaron. I got a new one coming out, dude. And that's about it, guys. Anything else, dude? Anything else, Johnny?
Oh no, we're done. Okay. Then Broken Sim, check it out. It's good episodes going there. We've had the numbers have been stunningly great. People seem to like that show somehow.
I do a lot of heavy lifting on that show. Really
like that show for some reason.
Okay.
Here's a clip from the latest Broken Sim.
There's a lot.
All are welcome.
Yeah, all are welcome. And out toward the fringes of that tent, in an area called TikTok land, there's some crazy stuff going on. And
Johnny, are you TikTok guy? Are you TikToking?
I'm not. I
TikTok.
can't. I don't. I have. You know how people say they don't have the attention span for something. I have the opposite of whatever the opposite of that is. I have too much attention span for TikTok. I just.
I get it, dude. Well, it's to me if there's just too many AI videos on there for me.
Oh, that too. Yeah, and it's that same black voice that sounds kind of like Morgan Freeman, but not enough to get copyright.
Yeah, it's just too much AI.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, there's talk right now, Johnny, that Mark Zuckerberg might have to give up Instagram. I know we talked about that on Cash Daddies. I'm hoping for that, but sometimes it's the devil, you know.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But I didn't get this video from TikTok. He might have taken it from his TikTok.
What I was going to say, what I was getting to this guy's intro. So this gentleman who has targeted Sam is one of the more prominent schizos on TikTok, and he has come after Sam. You just want to launch into this video. You retweeted this the other day. What did you say when you retweeted it or Instagram?
I just said the best comedy you'll see all day. I just want to say something. I've seen this guy a lot.
Yeah,
like he gets shoved into my feed.
Yes.
Right. He's I don't know. He's like the fittest flat earther or something like that. He's got like a American dad chin.
Yeah.
And
major undercut.
And he's always going super deep, right? And this is the problem. We always talk about how the left eats itself alive. That's what we always talk about.
Hey, Sam, be careful with your hands there, buddy.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry. We're sorry. Is it?
No,
he's obviously a crypt.
You were all really close to bringing
he's part of the secret society of lobster men. He's
crab
a lobster
people,
guy.
Crab people. Taste
Okay,
like
so
crab, look like people.
He's just that person that they always say that the left eats themselves alive. They're always like cannibalizing themselves. Well, the conspiracy side does that as well. Meaning, if you don't believe exactly everything they believe, you're controlled opposition. Johnny, how many times have I said I'm not controlled opposition, and why am I not controlled opposition?
A few times, yeah, a fair few.
Because I drive a Mitsubishi. Okay?
Yeah. That's one of many.
Right. That's one of the many reasons I'm doing it. And I got clothes over here. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, this man has a 2-car garage, and it's filled with junk.
It's filled with junk, Johnny. Why don't they realize that a controlled op would have some servants coming over cleaning his garage weekly?
Yeah.
Somebody just called me a Mitsubishi shill. Unbelievable, bro.
And so this kid, and tell me now, maybe you
tell me now.
You're a little more open-minded, I will say, to be generous than I am toward these things. But every time this guy comes across my feed, I'm thinking it's the dumbest shit I've ever seen.
I say it all the time. Like, this guy and it's fine because there's people who think I'm off my rocker.
But the stuff he says, like, if you don't know this guy, and we're going to show him in a second, what he likes to talk about is how pretty much every celebrity is just another dead celebrity from before who faked their death.
More successful than him, and I don't even know if I'm more successful than him because he's in everybody's feeds. So he could be way more successful than me. Johnny, I'm part of the secret society of the flamingos right now. Okay, this is how we say hello.
Easy.
Okay, so I don't know if he could be bigger than me. I'm fine with it. I don't care, but it's like this notion that anybody who has any success is automatically controlled opposition. And they're just people that it just clicks. You just meet them, you get it, it clicks. And I mean, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I could tell you why Joe Rogan blew up, and I can tell you why Ian Carroll blew up. I could just tell you why. And like,
Should we just show it?
Okay, Johnny, enough. I'm just trying to like communicate with you.
Well, I know, but you're kind of getting into what he's talking about, and
here we go. Let's
show it just a little bit first.
Are you someone seeking truth, but you don't want the full truth? You just want half truths and just enough truth to keep you distracted and occupied, and not enough truth to really figure out who or where we are or have a full spiritual awakening? Well, follow along. I have just the perfect 3 individuals who will always just give you a little bit of truth and a whole lot of lies. Here are 3 3 individuals that all have their own shows that supposedly talk about conspiracies, and they try to get to the bottom of many truths. Joe Rogan, everyone knows him and the Joe Rogan podcast. Sam Tripoli has the Tinfoil Hat podcast. And Ian Carroll, he is big on the scene now. He was just on the Joe Rogan podcast. And well, these are 3 individuals, like I said, that claim to be truth seekers. but they're anything
He's
but
he's so big.
You see,
Ian Carroll
they're just
doesn't
as
have
part
a
of the
logo.
club as all the celebrities are
Johnny,
part of the
you
club.
stop
They're just
right
rolled out on a red carpet for the people seeking.
But yeah, and he has this way of sharing information where he's like, "What do I know? You know, all shucks, I'm just a good guy here, just asking these important questions."
you know, it's just like if you're not as open minded as me to everything ever, you might be. If you're not open minded to everything I'm into, you might be controlled opposition.
All right, can we? Well, no, I'm sorry, that's a screenshot. Hold on just a second. I had to do some screenshots earlier to make our little thumbnail. Where
All right,
is
respect
this
you, Johnny.
fella here? There,
Guys, this is what happens when you go live. It gets weird.
This all gets cut out
Fast.
of the show here. When
Okay, here we go.
Can you
But
hear
you
him?
don't want the full truth. You just want half truths and just enough truth to
Just enough, dude. The amount of energy this guy expends moving that chin.
really figure out who or where we
Major on your
are
back.
or have a full spiritual awakening. We'll follow along. I have just the perfect 3 individuals who will always just give you a little bit of truth and a whole lot of lies. Here are 3 controlled opposition. 3 individuals.
It might be
Have their own
controlled
shows that
opposition.
supposedly talk about conspiracies, and they try to get to the bottom of many truths. Joe Rogan, everyone knows him and the Joe Rogan podcast. Sam Tripoli has the Tinfoil Hat podcast. And Ian Carroll, he is big on the scene now. He was just on the Joe Rogan podcast. And well, these are 3 individuals.
My favorite thing about he's so controlled, he doesn't even have his own logo. That's how controlled Ian Carroll is. He doesn't even have his own logo.
Yeah, everybody
knows.
Everybody knows the CIA does your logo.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that.
That's why it's the best logo. Look at that logo. Joe Rogan's got a great logo, but I think Daddy's is the best.
It is suspicious. Joe Rogan's had that logo since very early on.
Very early.
Where
Well,
did
he's
he
doing a lot of psychedelics very early.
Where did he get that professional logo?
Thank you, Coach Miguel. By the way, Johnny, I'm thinking about changing the names of our fans from the Broken to the Secret Society of the Flamingos. Get in the comments.
All right, let's see what Mr. Icewall. Nice hat, by the way, Icewall.
I said that claim to be truth seekers, but they're anything but that. You see, they're just as part of the club as all.
Stop it. Now look at the picture he has of me.
Yeah,
you can tell that's a long time ago because I got 3 chins going on, right? I got 3 chins there.
Look at Rogan here, dude.
Right? Dude, it's so crazy. But if you even go to my picture right there, right, you'll notice the shirt that Joe Rogan is wearing. I gave him that shirt that day, and Joe was always nice. If you gave him a shirt that time, he would put it right on to help promote whatever you're doing, right?
Naughty Show, wow.
So he has the Naughty Show. What does that tell you about the time period of this picture?
Very, very long ago.
It happened before Tinfoil Hat.
What is Ian Carroll supposed to be? He's just giving the peace sign and with a hot Asian chick. Like, what is he doing wrong there?
I don't even know, dude. He's sitting with an Asian chick, and because there's a checkerboard behind him, they must have put that there. So it makes him, and that's it. Joe Rogan's doing the okay right there.
Well,
he's
dude,
doing
he
the
looks
okay.
like he's at a race, to be honest. I think he's at some kind of race or something.
Maybe he's racing. Maybe he's racing to knock the bottom out of that Asian. I don't know.
Well,
but
hey,
dude,
it could be his girl or something. Must be easy. But yeah, she's sexy. Yeah.
Okay, look at this. It says Naughty Show. This is look at the number. Look at what number Joe Rogan's at right now. I think he's at 3,000. This is under 400 episodes.
If you'd like to hear the rest of this episode, subscribe to Broken Simulation in your podcasting app or check us out at youtube.com/Sam Tripoli.
Girls with
Theo Von got physical
in the denim overalls. She's big. What's her hat? Where she's part nut. She has nothing to do with the video. But
the guy said that like it was his birthday and he wanted to.
So whatever. You're talking about the guy with that.
With the balloon.
With the balloon.
Yeah. So he said it was his birthday and he wanted to go up to Theo Von and have them like take a video of them popping the balloon, and then I guess Theo got mad or something.
But in Theo Von's defense,
If you pulled the ass and the dick off her face and you come and you look down, she's like, is she smiling? You're good.
Yeah. You saw her before you did it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll make sure. How'd you have?
I don't love him that much.
No? But that is a sign of love.
That is a sign.
That
of
is
love.
a sign of love. I ain't gonna lie. I don't. No girls ever loved me that much.
No, no.
But that is a sign of love, and not only it's definitely a sign of love because it's for a big fool.
That's what I'm saying. They're big boys.
Yeah, they're big boys and they're hairy boys. Like they're not gonna.
Juno knows.
We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Tinfoil hack.